Hello, everybody. Hello. It is time for another episode. After getting stomped by the Ottawa Senators, particularly in game number 5, we're going to get right down to business because, maybe not, because the AHL team's still in the playoffs. But as you know, there are some players that we are certainly looking at, potentially acquiring in the upcoming drafts. Maybe, just maybe, there's cause for trading up into the first round, if not once, then twice, as our lovely AHL team, the good old landlocked Salmon, have made it to the Calder Cup final. I mean, with as many veterans as they have, they really should win this. But will they? It's tied 2-2. They're up 3-2, and we have ourselves a Calder Cup. There we go. So congrats to the Land Salmon. Calder Cup champions. How much longer is it going to take for the Stanley Cup to be awarded? Apparently quite a while. The Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup. So, good on the AHL team for doing what they did, getting the job done, getting, as you would have seen, some crucial experience there, as Ottawa made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. They swept Columbus and then lost to Vegas in 7. The Brandstrom Bowl. The Mark Stone Bowl. And it ends up going the way of Vegas. Eli Tolvanen, Max Domi. Yeah, these rosters are unrecognizable at this point. It's the best way to put it. They got a lot of offense, though. And Pietrangelo Theodore and some other people who aren't worth mentioning. That's a ridiculous team. I don't even know how the hell they can afford that team. In terms of the end of season awards, we have Nathan MacKinnon winning the Art Ross and the Hart. The Norris to Cale Makar. Pasternak did win the Lady Byng. Joshua won the Calder. Conn Smythe to Tolvanen. Gibson the Vezina. What else do we have in terms of major awards? The Kings coach won the Jack Adams. Barzell won the Selke. He's also a Shark now. Ted Lindsay to McKinnon and the Rocket Richard to Ovi. Did we get any hardware at the AHL level? Mike Hoffman did. Doesn't look like we did outside, of course, of the MVP of the playoffs, which is Tomas Yarto. So, the Red Wings legend. Getting it done. So here comes the lottery. Obviously, we're not a part of said lottery. Philadelphia has the number 1 pick. We know there are players that we're interested in. Retired players. Kopitar's gone at 36. So no chance of re-signing him as a free agent as you kind of get a look at the top players that retired here. Shea Weber also gone. For the defenseman, Quick Halak, Mike Smith. All gone as well. All won at least 300 games, though. A pretty solid career. So here we are. The draft. The top team that's willing to trade a pick, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Obviously, if we're going to make a move like that, it's going to involve trading someone like Zucker, which is good. That we actually have somebody. I think we do have an open avenue to the 3rd overall pick. There's also an avenue to maybe acquiring Lukas Dostal. And I think if we involve Andronov in this deal, we could be pretty close. We'd also have to add the expiring deal of Thomas Greiss. But with them wanting to trade Dostal, this is perfect. I actually didn't expect to see him there. I forgot that we were targeting him. And that I mentioned maybe he could be the guy. But here we are. Now, will this go through? No. Do we have anybody else? I was going to look at who else was available in terms of potential moves that could be made. Again, Yoshida wouldn't be that bad to give up, nor would Gill. There we go. Okay, so we have another goaltender in the mix. Lukas Dostal. Welcome aboard. I think we need to work out that deal with Tampa right now, because then we can call a timeout and get all of our other business done. Do we have the value to get this deal done? It is very obvious that Zucker is the guy to use. He's only a 61 at 19 years old. That won't go through 1-for-1, but it can't be that far off. Goalie-wise, Coletta, Sjogard, Park. These guys are pretty much exactly who we're going to use. There's Kopitz defensively, who we won't get rid of. I think it's probably going to have to be a draft pick. Or we use Riley as well. Honestly, maybe Radic Tata, if they have interest. I mean, I think if we can get rid of someone like Faxa, that makes a decent amount of sense. Gergensons also has value. Still rejected. They view it as two of the same player, of course. Toby Reeder, after his off-season, they would be over the cap. Okay. So maybe we leave Faxa in the deal. Let's see if we can get a deal done. I mean, again, we have all of these picks, which is just great. The question is, how many will it take to kind of close the gap here, and maybe, just maybe, someone like Radic Faxa is still worth getting rid of. Maybe we'll hold on for now and then get rid of him later. Damn it. Philly's probably going to make this pick before I can do anything. I think the obvious move is to try and use Riley and get other pieces back. They do want to trade their second. How close is this? Can we get this deal done before Philly makes their pick? Okay, the second rounder next year won't work. Let's try to add a third. If this doesn't go through, just do the trade as it is. Okay, and apparently we're still quite far off. So we'll let Philadelphia make their pick. Zucker and Riley will have to be the basis for this, as the Flyers get a franchise-level player in Matthew Konopka. We'll try to remember to go look at how good he is and if he was actually eligible to be selected by us. I suppose the one thing I should probably do, I mean, to double-check then, if Konopka's off the board, we really don't need the trade for the third. Because now the top option, if it wasn't Konopka, it's Ovechkin, it's Hilbert. Is there anybody else who wants to make that? Yeah, see, we got to go for them, though. Damn. If we want one of these guys, we got to make sure that they're the guy. I certainly don't think it would be Ovi. But Damien Hilbert looks like a safe bet. And I think we could use the extra value of that pick, of the third, to then trade down. The only problem is we cannot say with certainty that Hilbert's the guy. Problem is, if he is the guy, the team likely won't want to get rid of him, and then he never becomes really an available option to us. So I think this is worth it to go for it here, if we can make the right moves. It's a risk, though. So we'll use Zucker, we'll use Riley, and then from here, let's just start adding the fourths if we can. Although, man, we still might not be able to pull this off. Is it worth it, then? I'm having my doubts now as to whether or not it's worth it. Again, just based off of how much we'd have to give up. Let me double check the league really quickly just to see if there is anybody. And actually, we need to look off of overall more than anything, because of course somebody could be available and be on an expiring deal. So that is the target here. And so far, we got nothing in terms of anybody who's available. We're also going to get cut off, as the Islanders will definitely make this pick. Man, that's a tough choice. That's a real tough choice. The argument's also out there of trade for like Savoy and then use him to our advantage. Maybe. There's the no. Chris Tierney's value is through the roof right now. Yeah, we have no options, basically. There was that younger player, that defenseman, who was also potentially going to be a free agent, that we were interested in. But I did not see him on his team's trade block either. So it's either miss out on the guy that could be the gem of the draft for us, or give up a lot to get the third overall pick. It's pretty much what we're looking at here. As much as that sucks. Backstrom, McInnes. Guillermo McInnes is available. He was the guy, if I'm not mistaken. Is there a way to work out a deal for him? I think our second round pick and how high a value it is, I don't think there's any way we get somebody with the overall and potential of McInnes. So there we go. We might have given up a little bit too much, but we do get Guillermo McInnes. And that gives us another trade piece. I mean, he's a 75 at 19 years old. It's a beast. I just don't think we can risk it with the Tampa trade. We just don't know if Hilbert's actually a medium elite. If he is, he's worth it. You know what? We got to risk it. We got to risk it. Screw it. Let's live a little. So, it'll be Zucker. It'll be Riley. And Gleboff and McInnes could be used as well. We'll also look to use Radic Tata. And now missing that second rounder hurts. But we might still be able to get this through if we look at another second rounder or a third rounder in the future. 1/3 isn't enough. Is this third enough? No, and apparently we're still quite far off, which is ridiculous. There's no way we're far off considering they want to trade it. I mean, we're getting very close to not being able to afford this. Apparently we're a bit far off, so let's take Radic Tata out of there and use another third. Take that third out, go to Radic Tata, and hold on to some salary. Is about the best I can think to do. We don't have time to mess around with it. Let's go straight to 50%. Done deal. Okay. So we gave up a lot to get that pick. Which means we're going all in on Damien Hilbert to be not an actual franchise potential guy, but a franchise level player to be able to replace some of the people that we already have. He is projected to be selected around 11 or 12. I'm afraid of people going off the board. But if we can work out a deal with Montreal, we can recoup some assets here and then hopefully still be okay. In terms of anybody they have that we can get, I doubt it. Latti's got to be Finnish. Yeah, tell me Latti, that makes sense. Maxim Svitov is Ukrainian, though. I'd rather even get this guy back than a draft pick. Will that go through? Yes, it will. So maybe I could have added a little bit more there. But we get the 10th pick, and we get a pretty good forward. Now we just need to hope that he doesn't magically go off the board incredibly early. And if he does, well then, hey, we have a 10th overall pick to trade. Is this going to work out for us? Here we go. The last team that could screw it up. Ovechkin's off the board. So here we go. Did we make the right choice going after Damien Hilbert? We've added other prospects as well. Is he the guy? Okay, so he is a medium top 6, but he's a 77. Damn, did we make the right choice? You look at who we've given up. Right? You look at these trades. We give up not much for Lukas Dostal. We give up a decent amount for McInnes. But then it's Riley, Zucker plus for the third overall pick, excuse me. And then that third overall pick for Svitov and Hilbert. Was it worth it? I don't know. We might have been able to maximize that value a little bit more. I mean, obviously now draft pick-wise, we're completely boned. But now we have Dostal in goal to work with Parik and potentially Sjogard. Defensively, it's Bondra Dadonov, Seider Kopitz, Ronick, and probably Kempney still. So that's not too bad. But then for the forwards, I mean, you look at who we already have, on top of the fact that in the system, we now have Hilbert, we have Gleboff, we have McInnes, and we have Svitov. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. We had to hope that he was a medium elite. He wasn't. It's okay. If Pavel Solovyov ends up being a medium elite, that'll be pretty devastating. Aside from that, I mean, obviously now we know how kind of shortchanged we are on assets. But we do have to double check to see if there's anybody. I mean, Kovalev, you'd like to think, could be an actual medium elite. Zhamnov being a gem really makes you think he could be a medium elite. If we can trade into the early stages of round 2, I think we're set up pretty well. There's Holden, who I apparently had my eye on, but he's a low 4. I think we had our eye on him from last year. There's Grabeshkov, Nazarov. Nazarov's not bad either. He's 20, but he's 3 years out, though. Starter goalie in Ashton Streit. His starting overall's trash. And then Voracek. Let's look. We'll sim this Boston pick. Lapalainen. So in the second round, right around, God, what picks were those? 37, really 40 and 43. So this should be 33, right? Nope, 30, yeah, 32 teams, 33, 34, 35, 36. So St. Louis. I don't know if we have the assets to pull this off. I don't think we do, in all honesty. It would take one of the guys we already have, or it would take getting rid of a roster player. And I mean, if we look at who we have, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, weaken the third line now with Meyer and Hurdle to get these two guys and hope for the best. I honestly think that's the way to play it. I mean, Meyer and Hurdle in the regular season were great. Meyer put up 55 points. In playoffs, he was pretty good too. But I think we gotta look for the future here a little bit. Do the Blues have anybody that we could take on? Not really. Goodness. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that we get enough back here. It's a risk, man. It's a risk, but I think it's worth it. Will this go through? Not quite. Take out a 4th. Take out a 4th. Take out a 4th. Jesus Christ, man, the trade values in this game are nuts when it's on hard difficulty. Will this go through? Take out a 4th. This is starting to not be worth it. So it'll be a 2nd, a 4th, and a 5th. I guess a 6th, as it turns out. 36th overall. It might as well be a 1st. Timo Meier is gone. I'm really risking it here. And this might not end up being worth it. But it does also clear a bunch of cap in knowing that very, very soon, I mean, Bondra, Semyonov, I mean, those guys are going to have to go now. You know, sooner rather than later. And their value is likely to drop, especially Hurdle, because he's already 30. It's like we might as well go for it. The issue here is that, I mean, Hurdle's making $10 million as well. So the problem here is that we need to take on somebody like a Stamkos and then drop him. Pittsburgh's going to make this pick before I can do anything, and we should just let them. Let's see if we can work out this deal with Tampa. And hopefully that dude's still on the board. So again, I am well aware this is a massive risk. This is like a franchise-altering risk. But I do think it's the type of risky move we need to make. Because we've lost in the second round 2 years in a row. The additions that we made still haven't been enough. So why not go for it? Will this go through? Obviously that's a bit too much. What about now? Still too much. What if we add a 4th and a 5th? Too much. Take out the 4th. Take out the 5th. Alright, so 2 seconds is going to be a bit too much. We'll see if we can just jam this with third rounders. That's rejected. Take out another 3rd. Okay, now we're on Sweeten a Touch. And honestly, I mean, goalie-wise, I don't know if like Ustamenko and Vladar will be enough. It is not. Wouldn't mind moving on from them. They're really only good for the AHL at this stage. Add a random 6th. And we got a done deal. So we do acquire Steven Stamkos. We do get the 2 second-round picks that we hopefully need. Let's see what we can get for Stamkos and company here now as well. if we can take bits and pieces away from this team and then make the best of it. So in terms of wants, we'll just go draft picks. And again, try to nickel and dime the entire league, essentially, and get as much back as we possibly can. So, first up, Andrei Sekera, who's really falling off. No value. Michael Grabner, no value. Even on an open block? Yeah, no value. Michael Frolik, there is some value. 2 sevenths. 2 sevenths from Anaheim. Let's go for it. Stammer. A seventh, 2 sevenths from Winnipeg. Done deal. Radko Gudas is still somewhat useful to us, but we can move on. A 7th rounder this year will do it. He's on an expiring deal, hence the low value. Antoine Roussel. We'll take the 7th rounder from Ottawa. Jan Ruda, nothing. Richard Panik. Looking at another 7th. I think I took the lesser of them accidentally. Tom Kuhnhackl. Another 7th. Gaten Haas. Another 7th. Do what we got to do. Toby Reeder. A 4th and a 6th. Seems to be the going rate there. Let's keep going. The miniature teardown out of pretty much depth options. We get all the draft picks in the world if we have to. So defensively, Chernak, to be honest, was a big disappointment. I'm good with letting go of him. Having it be Ronick, Kempney, I mean, maybe it's a bit of a risk, but Chernak is, man, it was, I don't know. I think we can afford to get rid of him. We'll move on for the 7ths. Kempney stays. Mirko Mueller, nothing. Ronick will stay, even though his morale's in the toilet. Siegenthaler, nothing. Yarosh, nothing. Galvis, probably should have gotten rid of him earlier. Again, Ruda, Sekera, and then Savage, nothing. Okay. On the right-hand side, Blickfeld. If we can get anything, we should. And a 6th rounder's the price. Martin Firk, 7th rounder, done deal. Jacek, nothing. We know there's nothing for Grabner. Studnik, nothing. On the left-hand side, Thomas Yurko had a great AHL campaign. I'll gladly take a 6th and a 7th for him. Rudy Balsers, 7th rounder. Marco Dano, 7th rounder. Toby Reeder, 5th and a 6th, 4th and a 7th. And we'll take that 4th and a 7th from Chicago. Just clearing house here, doing what we have to do. Suter can stay, for sure. Yegor Sharangovich, nothing. Tomasz Nosek, nothing. We'll look at David Kampf, nothing. And then Gergenson's 4th and a 6th. Looks to be the going rate. And we'll get our own 4th rounder back. P.S. Suter I'd like to keep. I think he'll be pretty crucial for our 3rd line this year. So at the moment, Hischier with Pasternak and Stützle, Semyonov, Hedel, Natchez, and then Suter will probably be with Hilbert and maybe even Glebov, and then I presume that we can sign other people. You know, I presume that there will be some free agents. So we'll sim to pick number 36. I believe the guy that I wanted is still there. Of course, there was Ovechkin. Let's see who we missed out on. Solovyov, Weber, Aucoin, DeRocher, Maki, Marchand, Hoffman, Leonov, Finneganov. I mean, in terms, at least at the moment, in terms of banking, wow, what a fucking player for Colorado. Oh my God, that's a steal. In terms of banking on like the right player that was eligible for us, I think we made the right choice. This is where we'll take the defenseman, Pavel Korolev, and then we'll hope for Zhamnov, or Kovalev, excuse me, and then we'll hope for Zhamnov afterwards. So this is a risk, but if he's a medium elite, we're golden. Medium 4. 67's not bad. He's not amazing, but it's not bad. And Lindbergh's off the board, Dubielewicz. And now we have our next pick, which is Zhamnov. Third time's the charm, maybe, to get a medium elite? No, another 65 medium top. So overall, we've done okay, but we didn't hit the mark with a big fish. You know, risking it in this draft. And aside from that, I mean, there are definitely some players we can risk things with. I mean, Nazarov, like I said, but he's 20. He'll definitely be off the board. And then there's Tom's. God, if he wasn't a low 6, right? Even if he was a medium 9. So I think at this point, we probably just go for it. We move ahead, we sim. We look to draft people where we can, and then probably trade down from the rest of the picks. So it brings us to the 4th round, the 20th pick. And I guess the question will be whether or not there's anybody here who's not complete trash. Otherwise, we trade down, or we just go for the guys that we were looking at towards the end of the draft, and then trade away picks after. But yeah, unfortunately, this is bad. There is essentially nobody here who's worth the risk. Either that, or we just start going for it. Because how many picks do we have in this draft now? I imagine it's a lot. It is. We can trade and maybe get like 2/3, or we just make all of these picks and see if we hit on anybody. And that's our best bet, to be honest. So anybody that we can go for that doesn't have a confirmed potential is who we're looking at here, to just see if somehow, some way, they're half decent. So first choice would be Pavel Antropov, the Ukrainian defender, who's a medium 7th. Get ready for a lot of that level of disappointment, I would imagine. Further down, Bure we already knew, Sanders we knew. This goaltender, Rudolf Forster, the German, we'll go for him. And indeed, he was a medium fringe. So it's not like we lost a ton of value there, but this is our best bet. I mean, if we hit on one, like a low elite or a medium elite, we're in the money. Brennan Taylor out of Switzerland is a low 7th. While the likelihood is this over and over and over again, it's worth the risk. We need one medium elite out of all of these picks, and we're laughing to the bank. And in just as good of a spot, if not better, than we were not that long ago. Milan Duras is a low 9. Damn. Come on, once. One player is all we need. To be honest, I am looking at Sanders as someone who's worth it because he's 17, medium 9. But he's also trash. We got to aim for higher than medium 9. Let's see, there's Rogers. Come on now. Klein, but we know his potential. Donovan, we know his potential. There's an Italian. Next up is Karl Voracek. Can't say I have a ton of faith in a good potential here, but we'll go for it. Yeah. Another medium 7th. Damn. Downing, Schwarz. There's got to be one. Like I said, instead of packaging all those picks together, we just try to hit. Do what we can and hope for the best. And unfortunately, it hasn't worked. At least so far. If it works, you look like a genius. If it doesn't work, you look like a goof. So, I mean, we'll see what I look like by the end of this. Gordy Chimera could be worth it. Kostitsyn. Right now, there's the Austrian there in Arcabello. I want to make sure we got the guys on the board that we know are coming up. Stumple, I mean, yeah. Herdina's a medium 7th. Okay. There's Hernandez, and then, of course, you have the likes of Tatacek that I was talking about from earlier. Okay. And that was Alexei Latipov. All right. We just need one player. That's it. Looking for my first pinned player, and it is the defenseman, Pedro Schremp. Vote for Pedro, draft Pedro. He's trash. All right, next up for the hell of it, let's get him off the board. It is the 19-year-old winger, Radic Tata. How good are you? Medium bottom 6. The strategy be backfiring, everybody. It be backfiring. Let's go for Vlastak right here, I guess. I mean, he's a low 6, but at this point, we'll take a low 6. He's a 54. It's not too bad for a 6th round pick, but obviously not what we're hoping for. Next up will be Chimera out of Denmark. Medium bottom 6. Damn. Damn. When the strategy fails. Let's take Kostitsyn. Hope for the best. Another medium bottom 6. I mean, medium bottom 6s with 6th rounders, that's not that bad. But again, all these draft picks you hope to hit with one. But we all kind of know how the NHL draft works. Something like Madden's a lot more fun. Speaking of which, again, if you didn't remember, check out my second channel. Links in the description if you have been missing some Madden franchise lately. So we get Mr. Arcabello. I was going to say, Mark Arcabello. And it's like, well, no. That's why his last name's in the game, but no. All right. Who the hell do we still have pinned? Let's take Conan the Barbarian here. Medium bottom 6. We're in the 7th round. There was another 18-year-old player, Brizgalov. Low 7th. Well, time to start looking for the youngest players available. And then maybe, again, it'll be guys where it's like, oh, shit, we saw him last year. So, we have Klein, Breland, Krupp, Mikanov, Walls in goal, Bobkov, Fritzmeyer, Herdina, but we already know how good he is, Zinger, Stumple, but we already know how good he is, Fistrich, Macaulay. There's actually a lot of them. Finley. Come on, one player. Still not to the 18-year-old players here. Pandolfo out of Austria. Ivanov's 18. Okay. So out of all the pinned players, let me just make sure the guys that we had pinned earlier. I mean, Karl Voracek is 19. Yeah, we don't need him. And then Hernandez was the other one. Okay, so there are 3 goalies, 4 defensemen, and the rest are forwards. Out of the goaltenders, there's one who's actually got some size. I mean, he's projected in the 900s, for God's sakes. That would be Mikanov. Walls has actually played a little bit. Defensively, Fritzmeyer, Zinger, Pandolfo, and Bobkov. I mean, off of the stats, you'd probably go with Zinger or Fritzmeyer. And then for the forwards, similar amount. Get rid of Klein, so there's actually only 3. None of them have anything crazy. I guess we'll go for Breland here, just for the stats that he had out of Belarus. And unfortunately, he's trash. We got back-to-back picks here. Let's go for the tall goalie. Take Andrei Mikanov. He's trash. That's what you get for taking someone in the 900s. We'll take a defenseman. Take the big boy, Marco Fritzmeyer at 6'4". He's trash. Not a single one of these panned out. It's crazy. Crazy. We'll take Macaulay. He has the highest projection out of anybody left. Medium bottom 6. We got pick 210. And at this point, who the hell knows? We'll take Fistrich, I guess, because, again, he's projected the soonest. He's a medium backup. How many picks do we have left? 3 picks left. Okay. Well, these guys are all pretty far down. We'll take the other goalie as well, Kyler Walls. Why not? Fringe starter. There you go. It's not bad for a 7th-round pick, obviously. 3 defensemen, 1 forward. We'll take Krupp. Low bottom 6, and 4 defensemen. Let's take Cody Pandolfo. Low 7th. So, we risked it. It didn't quite work out, I think is the best way to sum up this draft. Hilbert, Kovalev, Zhamnov, all decent. Were they the right moves at the right time? Tough to say, because again, we moved on from Meyer, we moved on from Hertl. We do pick up Dostal, which I'm happy about. I mean, for the most part, we're looking okay. Defensively, I mean, Kempny has to be re-signed. But once again, for the most part, we are okay. And then forward-wise, I mean, again, the top 6 is still set. Suter, Camp, we got to make some decisions there. We'll see what happens with Hilbert. And then obviously we know we got rid of some UFAs, some pending UFAs, that might very well be coming back to the team pretty much immediately. For the Netminders, like I mentioned, Merzlikins is basically the only guy we could get. But because now we have a different option in goal, we don't need to hand Elvis over $5 million to sign here. Like, we should be okay. Defensively, there's no help coming. There isn't. There's just... There's nothing, as we know. I mean, again, well, there's Andronov, but he's a low elite and yeah, I mean, see, there's this guy, but he's a low elite, 67 at 22. There's not much out there. That's why it made sense to really kind of risk it at the draft. The only other guy was Yuri Ledbedev on the Kings. And you can argue he would have been the right direction to go instead of risking it on these other guys. But I do think, you know what, we're going for it right now. We're going for it right now. I was going to hold off and do free agency in the next episode, but nah, let's go for it. We'll try to re-sign Kempny. Mueller can stay. Siegenthaler can stay. I want to end this episode with Ledbedev. I don't know what it'll cost, but I think it'll be worth it. Andrei Sekera we can keep just for morale's sake. We can't really afford to take another big hit to team morale after all the trades that we made. P.S. Suter actually doesn't want as much as I would have thought, given that he had a pretty damn good regular season. So we'll try to re-sign all these guys here. That should appease their teammates. And I think the only guy to reject was Mirko Mueller. And I mean, all I got to do is give him more money and he should sign. There we go. All right, so the RFAs, I'll let it sort itself out. I'm not too worried. Obviously, staff-wise, I'll have to sort that out too. And that's perfectly fine. In terms of scouts or looking at better coaches. Let's see here. Is there anybody out there, or are we just going straight after Ledbedev? Hugo Alnefeld's out there, but he's Swedish. I said it way too fast. Gustafsson. There is Arturs Silovs, who might be worth signing. And yeah, Merzlikins wants $6 million, and that's just not gonna happen. With how bad goalie trade values can be, it's just not worth it. We'll try to sign Silovs. Defensively, in terms of potential, there's nothing. Yeah. In terms of actual forwards, who's the top option that we can sign? How far down do we got to go? The answer is very. Guys like Radko Gudas didn't drop to the free agent list here, so fortunately banking on some of them becoming available once more failed. Martin Fehervary is the top option, and it's actually worth signing him. He could actually be decent for us. He still has some potential. Outside of him as an option, you got Radim Simic. Eric Chernok is also out there. We'll look to sign both of them. Again, Chernak would be good for morale. Lucas Spiza is also available. No, we don't want to sign you to that. Pissick, Osterley, Robert Haig is not available. Artyom Zub isn't available. Dean Kukin is, though. Swiss option. Wants a little bit more than I'd prefer, but that's a pretty easily tradable contract. You got Christian Juice. Brings us up to 38 deals. Good as Alex Green. Okay. I think we're all right there for the moment. And then for forwards, in terms of potential, do we have anybody? And the answer is absolutely not. There is, Marian Dimitra. Interesting. Just a free medium top 6, perhaps. Here's hoping. That'd be pretty nice, even just for trade value. And then for forwards, there is Thomas Tatar, which, I mean, on a 1-year big money deal, just to bring him back and have him on the third line after getting rid of Hurdle and company makes sense. It also makes sense to hand a big 1-year deal to Matt Zuccarello, even though obviously he's not worth that amount of money. Having those guys fill out the third line this year makes a ton of sense. Because aside from that, I mean, we got Teddy Bluger. And again, same thing. Gonna have to hand him a big money deal. Let's wait for the other guys to sign first. It's also Jake Voracek. Don't know why Bluger's looking for so much. But yeah, Voracek is available. When in doubt, go for the veterans. I think that about does it for the moment. I mean, obviously, Sven Berchke's there. Okay, so we have targets in free agency. Ledbedev. How valuable is that defenseman, Ledbedev? Oh, we can get him. We can get him for sure. At least I think. Try to keep Kovalev if we can. Philip Ronick is really displeased right now. Looking at forwards, I don't want to use anybody that we just picked up. Zhamnov is 65 at 17 years old. There is Vlasic, who has some value. I think for the most part, though, it is going to take some of these futures. We keep talking about not trading futures, but when you get players like this that become available, you got to go for it. I don't think this will be enough. Oh my God, it was. So 2/3, 2/4, and a low 6, and we get Ledbedev dirt cheap. So the question now is what happens with these players? Dimitra signs, so we get another medium top 6. Kukin, Spiza, Voracek, Simic, Chernak, Juice, Ferravari. I think Christian Juice was available. He might be Swedish, and if he is, I'll get rid of him. Silovs, Zuccarello, Tatar. How much cap space do we have left? 7 million? That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Who's left? Will Teddy Bluger be there, for example? Teddy might be gone. That's okay. You get like Voracek and company. Yeah, Bluger's definitely gone. That's okay. We got the highest rated guys we could, some veterans to add to this team. And unfortunately, there is just nobody. Unless it like keeps like endlessly scrolling through the same damn players or some shit. Which it might be, because I'm just glaring at the nationalities over anything else. But no, it doesn't appear to be doing that. Michael Raffel is the best one available. So we have 43 people under contract. I think we made some pretty good moves. The question now is how well do some of these younger guys develop? But I still think we're very much in a good spot. I mean, again, goalie-wise, Dostal, Paric are the guys. Then Sjogard and Kaleta in the AHL. Defensively, Bondra, Dadonov, Seider, Ledbedev. Presumably from there, Kempny and Ronick. And if not, Ferravari. And again, we have Kopitz. waiting in the wings. And for the forwards, Pasternak, Hischier, Stützle, Semyonov, Tatar, Hedl, Zuccarello, Natchez, Voracek, Suter, Kampf, Nosek, and then, of course, Hilbert's there, Glebov's there. We're going to have a sick team. We'll wait until the next episode to kind of sort it out and see exactly how it's going to pan out. But we're going to have a very sick team. So I still don't know. I'm intrigued to see what you guys think over the moves that were made on the fly. Hopefully we made the right choice long term. It's tough to say right now, though. But I think we did okay.